Hello everybody, hope that you are all doing very well. In our last two sessions, I discussed 7 relations between concepts to show you how they are actually arranged in our lexicon or in our mental dictionary. They were the following: synonymy, homonymy, polysemy, portion mass, hyponymy, meronymy, and member collection relationship. Today we will have a look at the last lexical relation, the eighth lexical relation, antonymy. And if we're talking about words or terms, we say antonyms. Antonyms are words that are opposite in meaning. Antonyms are words that are opposite in meaning, and they actually come in different forms. The first form is simple antonyms. Simple antonyms where we have here the positive of one word indicates the negative of the other one. Simple antonyms are, by the way, referred to as binary complementary or as hemispheric terms or as absolute terms by Charles Cradler in his book. We go back to simple antonyms. We said that the simple antonyms where we have here the positive of one word indicates the negative of the other one. As an example, we have dead and alive. If somebody is alive, that somebody is not dead, and vice versa, and the opposite is true. So the positive of one term, dead, let's say, indicates the negative of the other term. Here we have alive. Another example is pass and fail. If you pass an exam, you don't fail it, or if you fail an exam, you don't pass it. So what we have here is actually either one, or either this or that. So what we have here is simple antonyms. Okay. The second form is gradable antonyms, also known as or referred to by Charles Cradler as polar or non-binary contrary. Now here we have the positive of a word does not necessarily indicate the negative of the other one. And examples we have here, for example, cold and hot. Now when I say my drink is cold, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not hot. When I say my drink is not hot, it does not necessarily mean that it is actually cold. It might be warm but not hot. Okay. Another example is tall or short. So when I say, for example, he is short does not necessarily mean that he's not tall. When I say he's not tall does not necessarily mean that he is short. So what we have here is actually gradable antonyms. Reverses actually is the relation describing movements here, where one term describes a movement in one direction and the other describes the same movement in the opposite direction. Examples: right and left. What we have here is up and down, and we have in and out, fill and empty. Fill goes in, empty, it goes out. So what we have here is actually describing a particular movement, but one term describes this particular movement in one direction, the other one describes it in the other or the opposite direction. Now, the fourth form of antonyms or antonymy relationship is actually converses, the relation between two terms or two words from alternate viewpoints, and an example is on and belong to. When I say, for example, I own a car, or this car belongs to me. Now we have the same. Of course, it's a kind of paraphrasing when I say I own a car and or this car belongs to me, but what we have here is actually we are talking about the idea from different perspective. If I'm talking about the owner, I say I own the car. If our concern is the owned thing, I say the car belongs to me. So it depends on the perspective from which you are actually looking into the information or the piece of information that you're giving. Teacher and student is another example of converses. above and below is a third example of converses, where we have here, for example, when I say my flat is above the supermarket or the supermarket is below my flat. What we have here is actually a paraphrasing in these two sentences, but what we do have is actually having a look at the same piece of information from different perspectives. Okay, so that's the kind of converses relationship between such terms. Last form of antonymy or antonyms is actually the taxonomic sisters or taxonomy. Taxonomy is a relation of classifying terms on the level of analysis. So it's a relation of classification actually. What do you mean by this? Now, we have the term color, for example, and color is related to red, yellow, green, and brown. There is a kind of relationship between color red, color yellow, color and green, color and brown. And if you remember, if you remember that hyponymy relationship, we said red is a hyponym of color, yellow is a hyponym of color, green is a hyponym of color, and so on and so forth. Now, in addition to this hyponymy relationship between red, yellow, green, brown on one hand and color on the other, there is another kind of a relationship between red, yellow, green, and brown themselves. And this kind of relationship is taxonomy. Red, yellow, green, and brown are called taxonomic sisters because they are arranged horizontally on the same level of analysis. Another example is cook. Do you remember the verb cook? Now we said that cook is related to boil, roast, fry, grill, and bake in one way or another. We said that cook is related to these terms, as cook is a more general term and its meaning is included in the meaning of boil, roast, fry, grill, and bake. So we said boil, roast, fry, grill, and bake are actually hyponyms of cook. At the same time, boil, roast, fry, grill, and bake are taxonomic sisters because they are actually arranged on the same level of analysis and they are arranged horizontally, so they are actually connected to each other within that kind of taxonomy relationship. We need to remember that hyponymy goes vertically, whereas taxonomy goes horizontally. Red, yellow, green, and brown are taxonomic sisters. They are all hyponyms of color. Boil, roast, fry, grill, and bake are taxonomic sisters. They are all hyponyms of cook. There are lots of other examples regarding taxonomy and taxonomic sisters. Well, this is the end of sessions on lexical relations. Of course, there are much more things to talk about regarding lexical relations, but I feel that that is enough for the time being. The next coming sessions will be on another very important topic and interesting topic in semantics, which is actually sentence relation. Thank you very much indeed for listening. Thank you very much indeed for being with me. And for those who are interested, these are the references. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you very much indeed. See you really soon, and please take care.